As we are getting into the later stages of the calendar year, I guess not the season, because that's not where my brain was going, we are approaching the next transfer window, which is going to be throughout January, as always. And Leeds United, we don't quite know what their plans are going to be yet, but some things are becoming more and more clear as time goes on. So in this video, I'm going to run through what we do know, what we're sort of speculating about, and ultimately what sort of direction we're likely to be heading as this window crawls on. So, for example, today we got a little bit more news around Max Wober. We found out that not only were Borussia Mönchengladbach interested in him over the summer, there was also quite a bit of interest coming out of RB Salzburg, which is the club that Leeds United signed him from, and they are currently looking for a little bit more experience, a little bit more wisdom within the squad that they can bring to add a little bit more solidity and some wise thinking to the squad. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad idea on their end because Max Wober is and would be one of the older players in their squad, and he has played a significant amount of football, with RB Salzburg not being where they want to be right now this season. Be a very good signing for them, but we still need to have an extended conversation about that on the Leeds side. I don't think we would sanction an exit in any way, shape or form, just because he brings depth in two different positions, left back and centre back. Sort of important to make sure that we have depth there, especially with Ampadu out, and that is already harming our depth at centre-back. As careful as we can be, the only world in which I see that feasibly happening is Ampadu comes back incredibly fit and healthy. Giavogi says, look, I can play centre-back if we need, and we get left-back cover. That is a lot of things that need to fall into place for Max Wober to be able to go to RB Salzburg. I see him maybe leaving in the summer anyway, because I don't see him as being fit for the Premier League with us, but that's the general gist around Max Wober. But more people are interested in incomings than in outgoings, because in terms of outgoings, we could also have a conversation about Joe Gelhardt. I think at least a loan is feasible on that front, but that's not the point of this video. We're more looking on the incoming sort of thing. And I think there's a conversation to be had around Aaronson. Aaronson has done a hell of a lot of running this season so far. He's played almost every game. He might have actually played every game. I'm not entirely sure. But in every game that he does play, he is rampant. He is everywhere on the pitch all at once. He's pressing absolutely everything. And that sort of chaotic style, some people don't necessarily like, because he is all over the shop. And a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of that. And he's not the most deft touch. And in terms of final product, he's not as good as a lot of the rest of the front line. But his press is incredible. And there's an ongoing conversation that with that potential lack of final product, is it worth getting someone that can play that number 10 role like Aaronson does, but do it in a different way? Do it without the press, do the more creative stuff. Is there a chance for signing a number 10? Or in this case, also a number 9? I've sort of looped these together because I think if we do sign anyone, it's going to be one of the two. I don't see us signing both. But there's an argument for a number 9 because a lot of the time we're missing that finishing touch. And when we have that finishing touch, it's Joel Piroe, but his positioning is significantly deeper than both Bamford and Joseph. Bamford and Joseph aren't getting the finishing, aren't getting the minutes to make the same impact as Piroe. And Piroe's impact is coming against sides where he has a little bit of space just outside the 18-yard box. But any side that is defending that specific area of the pitch, Joel Piroe is having a little bit of a problem with. So I think a lot of people are arguing for signing a number 9. I'd say instead of that, a 10 is probably where we need to be looking, just because we need that last creative pass. What we saw against Blackburn was a side that were really structured and very defensive and would force us to clog up the middle of the pitch, and that would stop us finding the creative pass because we didn't have the player to find that through ball. If we get a number 10 that can do that, that can find that progressive ball through the middle that really causes problems for the other side, perfect. Sides like Blackburn become significantly easier to play against, and we don't struggle quite as much. But the people that are optimistic about this might be a little bit on the fence now, because we have had word from Farke in a recent press conference about how it might be a quiet January. This makes sense because apparently we were dancing on the edge of PSR because the amount we had to pay off from past transfers that were happening under Victor Orta, we threw into paying them off this summer with Gray, Somerville, repair money, Kamara as well, Cresswell. Hell of a lot of players went out. Sorry, nearly spilled my drink everywhere. So it might be a quiet January because we don't know how much PSR headroom we've got at the minute. But a little bit of me has another little conspiracy theory, and this could just be the 49ers doing their thing, doing the making moves in quiet thing. Because when everyone saw all the players that went out and said, we need 5 really, and we signed 5, fair enough. There's a hell of a lot of signings, and maybe, sure, we could have done with a 10 as well. Daniel Farke got what he asked for. Signing a number 10, I feel, will be absolutely perfect in January, and the 49ers don't want us to be down here for another season. A lot of people are saying, well, no, they'll just rinse the club for transfer fees or whatever. That's nonsense, because the longer you spend in the Championship, the more the club devalues, and the more the club devalues, the less profit the 49ers are going to make when they do sell. They don't sell the club for a profit in the Championship at all. And the dividends are, as we have heard from multiple supporters advisory board meetings and stuff, are 0. Investors aren't making a penny at the moment from the club. So I think things are just being kept quiet on the back burner, and moves will be made. Just they're being a little bit sneaky about it. I can see a number 10 coming in. Outside of that, maybe a left back, but I don't see tons of moves. My ultimate predictions are we'll get 1 or 2 signings in, probably on loan, because that is less of a financial commitment and shores up the squad in a way that fixes this year and doesn't tie us down for next year. If we sign, let's think of an example, it's not going to be Kiefer Moore, but someone like a Kiefer Moore, who is fine, brilliant, good at getting you out of the Championship, not it for the Premier League, you're not going to want to sign them permanently in the Premier League. Because if you do that, well, you're stuck with him now. And it's not going to pay off. I think we're going to be sensible. We're going to look short-term, and we're going to look financially viable. I don't see a huge, wild, insane set of signings that are going to set the world on fire, but I can see us doing just about enough to push us on for automatic promotion. I think we've got a decent enough squad for it at the minute, but a good signing would tip that balance and make it far more certain. And that's what we need right now, right? A little bit of certainty. Anyway, with all that in mind, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, pop a like on it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I know lots of people are going to be shouting about us signing a hell of a lot of different players, and I completely get that, because a stronger squad is something that everyone wants all the time, and I understand. If you've not yet, I'd hugely appreciate you subscribing or even becoming a channel member. You get videos like this one early, and it's just really appreciated. It's 99p a month, and you could pop on Balls Knowledge, which is a quiz that I run, and everyone enjoys being on it. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. And I will see you later. No, wait. I'm also, for the next 3 or 4 days, doing Jer's daily videos on Leeds United The View. So hop over, say hello on there. That'd be massively appreciated. Pop some nice comments in, because people don't like new things, and I'm hoping that they do, but we'll have to find out. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you later. Toodaloo.